Today we are going to work one of my personal favorite muscle groups, back. So growing the back, giving us more of a V-taper. It can also work to make your waist appear smaller as we grow our back, and we grow our glutes a little bit too. But today we're training back. So we're going to start out with a quadruped row. The quadruped row is really excellent for, number one, pointing out any kind of muscle imbalances that you may have between the right and the left sides. But it's also really excellent at helping us to make sure that we are engaging the core and working on core and glute stability while we work on growing the lats, so developing the back muscles as well. With the quadruped row, you maybe want to start with like 8 to 10 repetitions. If this is a movement you haven't been used to doing, it can be super challenging. So having a little bit of grace with yourself as you work up to a higher rep range. So maybe starting even with 6 if that's what feels manageable for you. So that's my recommendation for the quadruped row. So we're going to work a row variation. It is based on the quadruped form. So we're going to use a bench to perform our quadruped. So quadruped is where we have the opposite knee down and the opposite hand, and then opposite leg and arm are extended. So we're completely making an X with the body as far as stabilization muscles and working muscles. So with the quadruped row, we're extending opposite arm and opposite leg, and then the others will be working. So this works to help stabilization. So we are using a lot of core. This also helps in firing the glute and the lat on opposite sides. This is really important as it activates the oblique sling, which is a muscle firing pattern. So it's opposite lat to opposite glute. That really helps in making sure that everything is firing properly and really helps to prevent developing muscle imbalances. So this is what it looks like. We put opposite knee down and opposite arm. We're extending the back leg, and then we have our weight. So by using the bench, we're able to extend, right? If we did this kneeling, we wouldn't be able to extend. Make sure that heel stays in line with the glute, core is really tight. Look for that stretch on the lat, and then you're gonna row. So bring it up to your shoulder, and then lower. So we want to make sure that we are breathing. That's really going to help with stabilization. And you should feel this in the lat on the right, the glute on the left, and the whole core should be working a lot. You just want to pull it back so that elbow is up in line with the back. You don't need to rip it back really far. And then you switch it out and do the other side. So that is your quadruped row. From there, we are going to work into a straight bar cable press down. With this particular exercise, people have a tendency to use a really narrow grip, right? And we don't really want a narrow grip. We're looking for full rotation in the shoulders, but we want to bring our hands slightly outside of our shoulders. That way we can engage more from the lats as we press down. It's also really important to make sure that we press down with straight arms so that we're not using so much from the tricep. You want to feel the straight bar press down in the lat. With that exercise, higher rep range is pretty good, so like 12 to 15 and probably 3 to 5 sets on that.
This is a straight bar cable press down. It targets the lats and the erectors. So using a straight bar, you want to set up at a decent amount of space from the attachment point. You're raising the arms and then pressing this bar down towards the hips. You want to keep your arms straight to keep the movement focused on the back and out of the triceps as much as possible. We don't want to arch the back. We're trying to keep a neutral spine, just using the lats to press this movement down.
From there, we'll move into our strength exercise for our session today, which is a pull-up. You can, if you are unable to do an unassisted pull-up, you can absolutely use a resistance band. You can use the pull-up assist machine. You could have a partner help you. With pull-ups, we're looking to do as many as you can, Rest period is really essential in making sure that our muscles have enough energy to do another set. So doing as many as you can in one set, resting 1 to 2 minutes in between sets, and trying to hit at least 3 sets on the pull-ups.
For the wide grip pull-up, we start with the hands on the bar directly above the shoulders or slightly outside. We're going to pull up using the back muscles. We want to make sure that the energy gaps are closed, so put those feet together, cross your ankles, cross your knees, close the energy gaps. As you pull up, you're making sure that the shoulders are back and down so that we're pulling from the lats and less from the bicep. You're controlling in a slow manner and then using the lats to pull yourself back up again.
From there, we move into the pendule row, which is another strength exercise. You're using the barbell. With the pendule row, it's really important that we keep our back in one position, like we're staying in this position the entire time. The only thing that's moving is the arms. We're engaging from the lats. Pendule row, depending on how heavy you go, you can hit 8 to probably 15 reps pretty easily. Again, making sure you're taking adequate rest in between those sets so that you can have enough energy to have a good performance set on the next set. All right, so we're going to do a barbell pendule row. The pendule row, we want to touch the weights down to the floor. And then every exercise, we're going to explosively pull the weight in. And then on the way down, before we touch the floor, we're going to slowly and controlled, we're going to lower those weights towards the floor until they touch. And then it's exploded back up again. So the setup is really similar to a deadlift. You bring the weight in close. You make sure that you're pressing through the whole foot. These are really excellent also done barefoot so that we can make sure that we're engaging the whole foot, pressing through the toe, the heel, the pinky toe. All right, hands on the outside of the legs. Back is flat. We're going to keep it flat or neutral the entire time. Core is really tight to help facilitate this. Now, when we row, we're going to just stay in this space. We are not going to come up, which you see a lot of people do. So again, explode it up. Make sure that the shoulders are set back. We don't want them rolled forward. Head is neutral, so the whole spine is neutral. So here, I'm upright. Bring it to the stomach. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that the spine stays neutral. We stay in essentially the same place. We touch that weight down. The lower, the eccentric motion, is very slow and very controlled. The contraction is explosive. And that is your barbell pendule row. All right, so let me know how you liked it. Let me know your results. Love to hear. Remember to like and follow us and hit that subscribe button.